Hello, Instagram, and welcome to today's Soul Strong Sunday. Today we are talking about your mind and is your mind causing you to be overweight? I know this is a topic that is kind of a hot topic, I guess. It's always a hot topic for us ladies. What is causing our weight gain? What are the thoughts that are contributing to our overeating? How can we manage this? How can we get this under control? Well, that's what we are going to talk about today. So first, I just want to say hello to everyone. Hey, JSG, you made it today. And we are not only live on Instagram, we are also live on YouTube today. If you want to go over and you would rather watch it in a vertical, or let's see, yeah, horizontal instead of a vertical, you can see that on YouTube at tidymind, my tidymind channel. So let's just jump right into today's topic of, is your mind causing you to be overweight? Now, let's first talk about we talk a lot about balance and maintaining a balance. And here we talk a whole bunch about your mind and what your mind does and says and the problems that it causes and the emotions that it keeps stirred up within you. And so we need to look at that first. Let's look at finding a balance. If you read my post yesterday, I made a post on Instagram and I talked about finding the in-between. When we are working with our mind, and if you want to use the visualization of, hold on one second. If you want to use the visualization of the tidy mind house, you have the tidy mind house, and inside this tidy mind house is your roommate, the mind. And this mind is constantly talking, judging, analyzing, having preferences. It is what we call the ego. If you follow the Tidy and Relax Your Mind course, it is the DJ Judge. It is the voice that is always talking in your head, trying to get attention and also trying to control every aspect of your life. Every single thing. It wants to control it. And it wants all of the attention. And it usually gets it. And when it does this, it causes us to be out of balance. So what I have worked with the most is the emotional aspect of this, okay? I haven't really talked so much about the physical aspect. I did when I worked with Valerie Bertinelli in 2020 on the Today Show. We talked a lot about the mind's influence over your physical body. But for the most part, I talk mostly about emotional instability and how the mind creates this emotional instability and how we can find this place of stability by being able to first start to cope with this mind that we live with, this roommate, and then we take it a step further and we stop coping with this mind and we start mastering this mind, meaning we move out of the tidy mind house and its influence, and we're no longer sucked in by all the things that it says to us and tells us that we should be doing or shouldn't be doing, and we break free from that and we start living in a place where we get our guidance and our advice and our action steps from a place outside of this crazy, messed up, never enough, never satisfied, always wanting more, excessive, attention seeking mind. And we start to live in a place of peace, of contentment, of fulfillment, of stability. If you see me looking at two different cameras, it's because my YouTube camera is two separate cameras. So I'm just trying to look back and forth so that I don't ignore one or the other. So that's what we talk about most, mainly because my mind tends to take me into dark places. And I have to deal with anxiety or depression if I allow that to happen. If I let it take me there and I don't catch it quickly, I'm going to have to deal with those things. And it also creates messes in my relationships, creates a lot of drama, creates a lot of problems that don't have to be, creates overreactions, all kinds of things. So my maintenance, my practice that I focus on the most is to monitor what this voice, this roommate, is saying, and make sure I'm not getting tangled up with the fears that it is trying to hook me with, reel me in, tie me up, tangle me up in these fears. I'm trapped in my tidy mind house. I'm running from room to room, past, present, people, whatever. And I'm living a life of misery and suffering. And I know a lot, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know that anybody here that hasn't been there before, hasn't suffered with their mind at some point. But today we're talking about the influence that it also has over your physical body. So when we talk about our practice of finding emotional stability, we can also have a practice of finding physical stability. And it takes daily awareness. Now, there's all kinds of practices out there. There's meditation, there's yoga, there's, a gazillion. Like, there's all kinds of paths that lead to the same place. And for me, that place is a place of peace, a place where I have a choice over how I feel and the life I experience, and not allowing the mind to take over, tangle me up in fear, and take me down into those dark places. Now, I talk about the mind in that it's always playing a game. Yes, Kelly, hypnosis. People use hypnotherapy for weight loss. So the mind is always playing a game, and it plays not only with the dark, which is those lower emotions, depression, anxiety, fear, dread, overwhelm, doom, sadness. That would be playing in the darkness. And it tries to get you to attach to some thought that keeps you there. But why? Because it wants your attention, always. It wants your consciousness to focus on it and give it your attention. So it will bring up sad memories, and it will keep you playing in that place of darkness for as long as it possibly can. But then there's a flip side to the game, and that is the light side. The light, the joy, the happiness, the fun part of this life experience, this game that we are playing with the mind, if you're still playing the game with the mind. It also will lure you in and have you attach to those things. Now, I'm saying all this, I'm getting to a point about your physical body. So don't go away thinking she's never going to talk about the physical body and weight gain and all that. Yes, I am. I'm getting there, but I need to explain something. So just as the mind talks about pain, it also will pull you into places and get you to attach to pleasure. So now let's rewind, and go back to the day show in 2020 when we were working with Valerie Bertinelli. I gave this a lot of thought, okay? And I could see what the mind was doing in the pain cycle. And I explained that to Valerie. We had like a 2-hour session that we did that was recorded in the studio, and they showed y'all about 10 minutes of it. But I got that. I got my mind, I got that organized in my head so that I could explain it really well. So you have maybe a negative memory. Maybe the mind has you playing in the dark, okay? And it's talking about sadness and grief, and you've lost this and you don't have that. And so the mind is creating a problem over this by reminding you of it and keeping you dwelling on it, keeping you focused on it, keeping your attention held within this darkness, in the pain. And so it says, okay, well, if I eat, that will make me feel better. And so that's what we call the emotional eating. You are eating your feelings. Instead of seeing that the mind is causing all of this stirring up of feelings and emotions, instead of seeing that, you just do what the mind says you should do as the solution to the problem that it created. So you eat to cope with the pain. Then as you eat to cope with the pain, eating when your body is not hungry, eating for any other reason than because your physical body wants the food, causes another problem. This is the mind. The mind never has a, in all of its, it'll trap you inside the tidy mind house and have you try to figure everything out. And I got to fix this and I got to fix that. It can't. It never can. The only place of answers is outside the tidy mind house, in the place of peace and contentment and fulfillment in alignment with your source. But anyway, the mind tries all the time. But the reason it is doing that is it wants to hold your attention. Because if it can keep you in there analyzing and processing and trying to figure things out, it has you. It is possessing you. So it says, I'll just eat and that'll make me feel better. Because yes, it does produce physical comfort. Hormones are released in your body that, lift your mood, whatever. So maybe a temporary fix, but that fix causes another problem and your body starts to gain weight. And then the mind has a problem. Oh, wait a minute. Like this is going to get me negative attention from the other minds. Now I'm going to be judged by other people as being overweight or not looking the way I'm supposed to look or whatever that means. So now it has another problem. So then it starts to attack you. A mind will either attack or shut out. That is its tactics. It attacks or shuts out. It does that to you, and it also does that to the other people that you're in relationship with. Just watch it. Watch what it does. It likes to attack. It needs to punish, attack, or shut out. So it attacks you. And it produces all the shame and guilt around, what have you done? Look at you. Every time you walk past a mirror, you go into self-loathing and self-hating. The mind calls this whole thing, the whole thing. And now it is shaming you for doing what it said to do to fix the problem that it caused, that it just caused another problem. And now you're in this loop. You're in this guilt, shame loop cycle of pain and just creating more problem. Now you're creating a problem in your physical body. Now your health starts to decline, whatever. The mind did it all. The mind did it all. If I can get y'all to separate from your mind, which is my work, to get you to see that this mind is the root cause to just about everything. And to not listen to it, okay? Anyway, so that's the pain cycle. That I got it, I thought about it, I worked on it, I wrote about it, I prepared really well for Valerie, okay? But what I have just now come to is that the mind, in the game of duality that it plays, it not only plays in the dark, but it also likes to lead you into the light. And this is where it gets confusing, because we're like, yeah, but isn't that good? Like, aren't good feelings what we want to have? Yes. However, those good feelings in the game that we experience are based on conditions. They are not stable, meaning they can't be maintained. You can't stay in that state forever. It's high and a low. And those good feelings is a high, yes, and it feels good, but it is not, it's condition based, meaning some condition has to be met for me to experience that high, for me to feel that relief. And this is where addiction comes in. So, and you can get into addiction in playing in the dark too. But anytime you attach to having to have something to feel better, I have to have this, or I need this in order to feel better, it becomes toxic. And that is not where we find the true and lasting. No condition, needs to be met. You don't need a certain type of food. You don't need a certain type of environment. You don't need a certain person. You don't need anything except for your connection to your soul and the source of creation, whatever you want to call that, God, source, the universe, that connection to what we are. That's it. You have that connection to what we are. Relief is always there. No condition needs to be met. Problems aren't being created. Craziness isn't being created. Drama isn't being created in this space. Peace is there. Are y'all following me? Have I lost you all? So, what I did not discuss with Valerie, that I'm just now wrapping my mind, I mean, it just came to me this, I knew something, another piece was there, but I couldn't, you know how that feels like when you know there's a piece of it that you're missing and you just want to find it. Well, this week I finally wrapped my mind around it, so to speak. So, playing in the pleasure. So, the mind will then, if it can't drag you off into the dark, so say maybe you've been doing your mental work for a while and you realize the traps and the things that it tries to suck you in with, the fears that it tries, and you've released those fears. You've unpacked those boxes in the basement and you're no longer afraid of those things. You've made your peace with those things. Okay. Maybe I used to have a fear of being a failure. You know what? Sometimes I'm a failure and I lived anyway. I'm fine. Does my ego, does my mind like being a failure? No, because it wants an identity that it wants to have of a success, of so it can get all that positive praise and attention. So as it's playing in the light, meaning it's playing off of in pleasure, it will spin stories for you. The mind is always spinning stories. That's how it lures you into one side or the other. Think about the seesaw. If you haven't listened to that meditation, that might be a good analogy for you to have. The mind doesn't exist right here in the center where the balance is, where the in-between space is. The mind exists either on this end of the extreme or on this end of the extreme. In the dark or in the light. Okay? So it's always, that's why your emotions are always like this. You're never stable for long. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so excited because some condition was met that the mind really loved. Oh, now that condition is going away. Ah, well, that was so exciting when it was happening, but everything's kind of leveling back out now and I don't feel so good. And now what's next? What's going to happen now? I have nothing to look forward to anymore. And now I'm starting to feel sad. And see it. Can you see what happens? That's the mind. Right here in the middle is where you want to be. So as it plays in the light around food, anytime it lures you out on either end, the mind has to tell you a story that you believe in to get you to follow it, to get you to go out where it is, right? And that's what we're breaking away from. That's what we're learning about ourselves. What stories does our mind spin for us that lure us in, that hook us in because we're either still really attached to that or we're really still afraid of that? One or the other. I'm still attached to wanting that or thinking I have to have that to be okay, or I'm still really, really afraid of that and I'm trying to avoid that. Whatever. Okay. So here's the horrible stories that it tells you at 3 a.m. in the morning. And here's the beautiful stories that it uses to lure you into the light, into playing on this end of, again, both unstable ground. Both can change in any minute. Both are dangerous. This is more fun, but it can also create problems, and I'm about to show you how. But this is way more fun. Playing in the light, way more fun. So let's talk about food and pleasure. All right. So When I talked to Valerie in 2020, we talked about the pain aspect and coping, using food to cope with emotions, the painful emotions, the stories that it was dragging her down in here and talking to her, and she was using food to cope with. But let's look at this story. There's a beautiful story around food. Food is family. Here, this is your mind, okay? This is your mind telling you a story. Food is how we connect. Food is how we feel that connection with other people. Now, is that untrue? No, it's a beautiful story. And yes, you can feel those things. Oh, thank you, Donnie. You can feel those things. Yes, you can. But what the mind is doing is it is using food and saying that is how we, that's the condition that we use to experience the connection. Do you actually need food to connect to the ones that you love? No. Can it be used as a tool to do that? Yes, it can. Anything can, really. If you and someone that you love both enjoy doing a certain thing, you go do that thing together. That can also create connection. There's many things out in this game that we play that we can use to create connection. But yes, food is one of them. And it tells you this beautiful story. And if you attach to it, when the mind tells you to eat, feed your physical body when it is not hungry, you will do it because you believe, you're saying it's okay, it's justified because there's connection. What you're forgetting is you're involving your physical body. Your mind is taking advantage of and abusing the physical body and creating a problem, as it does, as it's always doing. So please rewind that, rewatch that as many times as you might need to, because I know your mind is going to argue with me about that. Especially those of you, if you've not listened to the post that I made on Instagram, I encourage you to do that after we hang up, because I talk about genetics. Now let me talk to the majority of my audience out here, okay? And I know who you are. You are my endomorphs. You have 3 different health types, and we're gonna talk about the physical body more. So hang in there with me, or watch the replay if you need to go. But we're going to talk about the physical body and ways you can honor the physical body and not let the mind take advantage of the physical body with its stories. Okay, ways that you can have pleasure, you can enjoy food, but also honor the physical body. So let's first talk about body types. There's 3 major categories of body types. You have what we call an ectomorph, a mesomorph, and an endomorph. The endomorph is the majority of clients that I work with. The ectomorph, who is usually tall and skinny, not really emotionally, they don't emotionally engage, they're kind of introverted and can be called cold, or just not, they're not the huggy feely type, okay? They work a lot. They're usually workaholics. They're not going to come to me because they're usually, I'm not saying other types aren't intelligent, but they think they know everything. They think they know, they already know. So why do they need help, right? And they also have super fast metabolisms. There are these people that can eat anything they want to eat whenever they want to eat it. And they usually have a problem gaining weight. And you're like, why couldn't I have gotten that body? Well, your soul had a different purpose. And your soul's purpose picks the body that it needs to use for that purpose. Maybe you weren't supposed to have a startup company and a portfolio and maybe you weren't supposed to build skyscrapers and be an architect. I don't know, but they're in that body for a reason. Then you have the mesomorph, and that is what I am. Think Mesomorphs move around a lot. They're very active. The gymnasts, acrobats. They're very daring and risk-taking. They don't have the super fast metabolism of the ectomorph, but it is faster than the endomorph. So we put on a lot of muscle pretty easily. We can work out maybe, for a week, and you can also already see definition in the muscles, which means we're going to metabolize fat faster, but we can also gain weight. Trust me, we can gain weight in the butt, hips, and thighs, as us females do. But we're usually pretty active, but our minds have other issues, and that is creating problems. We create problems and drama. We're usually highly emotionally intelligent, so we exist on that mental emotional plane, which is why my basic work is this. Like I guess I chose this body so that I could do this work, so I could analyze and process what the mind is doing and share that with everybody else. Now the endomorph. Let's talk about the endomorph, because that's most of you out there listening to me. The mesomorph is like hourglass shape. The endomorph is either apple shape or pear shape. Usually they can be like really heavier on the bottom with a small top, or can be like carry all their weight up top and have small, never gain weight on their legs. Their legs, they usually have like the sexiest legs, like when they're fit, it's like, wow, your legs are amazing. So, but they usually carry their weight on the top. They get top heavy. So the endomorph, and I think Valerie falls between the mesomorph with the hourglass shape and the endomorph. Maybe more on the pear, between the hourglass and the pear. So they, unfortunately, an endomorph has the slowest of all the metabolisms. But they are, Kelly, you are probably an endomorph. They are survivors, okay? Like if we have something happen, they're going to be the ones still standing. They're very resilient, very durable body types. They're usually very grounded people, but it takes them a really long time to embrace change or to make a decision to do something. They're going to need to sit with it, to ruminate, to pore over it, to think about it again, to get their friend's opinion about it, and then think about it some more. And then they usually just end up doing whatever they're doing. They also are the caretakers and givers of the world. They go above and beyond always. They are so giving, and they remember everybody's birthday. They're the people at work that organize the birthday parties. That's them. Like they care about people. But the trap they fall into is they usually feel, thank you, JSG, they usually feel very unappreciated and not valued, because people don't know how to give in the same capacity that they give. Because the rest of us, where they're thinking about everybody else and what they need, and making sure everybody's got what they need behind the scenes, and making sure they've got the food that they need, and the fridge is stocked, and they are the caretakers, and they're focused on everybody else. And us ectomorphs and mesomorphs are not. We're more, I hate to say, but we're a little more selfish or self-centered than that. So if you're an endomorph and you're living in a house of ectomorphs or mesomorphs, you're going to feel like, wow, these people don't care about me at all, because they don't ever think about, well, maybe she needs this, or they're not wired that way. And so you usually feel they're not here to be the caretaker of everybody else. They're here to either invent things or create something for society to work better or to function better, and you are here to manage people. You think about people, and you also love to gather at the table and cook food and prepare food. And a lot of your life is around food because that is the basic need of people. That is your focus, the basic need of people, because you are in a caretaker body and your mind is wired to do that. When you learn these things, me as a mind coach, it's like I can look at your body and tell what your tendencies are going to be, what your problems are going to be, what your hangups are going to be with your mind, what stories your mind is going to tell you based off of what body you're in. It's just a little bit of a shortcut. So, knowing this about the endomorph, that story, something you're already hardwired to do, prepare, have a life around preparing for other people and making sure that they have what they need, and that includes feeding them. You also love the connection you feel of a close group of people, family, around you. Because endomorphs have trust issues. You are the most suspicious of all the types. A mesomorph can be kind of suspicious too, but usually somebody has to do something to them first. A endomorph does not trust you until they know that they usually think everyone's out to get them, or people are trying to use them or take advantage of them or just want something from them. That's usually the fear that they get into. So they have a very, yeah, you do that, Joanne. Use your weight to protect yourself. So they have a wall up, a real solid wall around their heart, okay? Even though they're the most loving, caring, they have the greatest capacity for loving and caring. They will only give that love and care to their close inner circle of family, which can leave them isolated. And if they get out of balance, what they'll do, it leaves them isolated when their family grows up and goes away, or their family dies or whatever. Now it's like, where's my little inner circle to care for, and who can I open my heart to? Who are my trusted inner circle people? I don't have them anymore because that was my family, and now they've either grown up or they're all dying, and now I'm just here. So that leaves them very isolated. They need those people around them to love, to pour that energy onto, but they isolate themselves because they won't give it to they won't let just anybody in, and that's okay. Okay, that's okay. That's not, we're not going to make a problem out of that. Okay, that's perfectly okay. But you'll need that trusted little inner circle that you can open your heart to. And let me tell you, if you are lucky enough to ever experience getting in an endomorph's inner circle of trusted people, they will drown you in this love and in this care. I mean, they anticipate needs like nobody else's business, but they also have to be careful because they can smother you. They can try to smother and control that person because they don't want them to leave this inner circle, because then who will they give to? Who will they give all their heart to? And so they pour it on this person so heavy and so much that it's smothering, and the person needs more space than that. And then they start trying to control the person because they don't want them to go away, or they don't want anything, that they think they need to control everything. And then they get into problems with that. Okay. So I've done a lot of talks on this. If you want to listen to Lunchtime Live, I did last year on mothering versus smothering. I did like a 3-part series on that. You are welcome to go back there's a little circle on my profile page on Instagram that you just click lives, and it'll scroll through all the lives, and they're all labeled. So they're all in there if you want to listen to replays. Now let's talk about your physical body. Thank you if you're still here. Thank you for sticking around. Let's talk about your physical body and the pleasure game around this beautiful story of food and connection, and what we can do to have the pleasure of food, use it to connect with our family, which is fine. There is not a problem in that. There is not a problem in that. Where the problem comes is when you're using the physical body and you're abusing it because of a need that the mind says it has. So it's all about honoring the body, okay? And finding the in-between with your physical balance, just like we find the in-between with our emotional balance. In the talk that I did on Instagram, in the recording, I talked about this book, okay? I have 3 sons, and after each baby, I had to lose weight. The first one, I think I gained 20 pounds. The second one, I had toxemia toward the end of my pregnancy and had gained I think I gained 50 pounds with that baby, and he weighed 5 pounds. And then a lot of it was water weight, but I did gain a lot. And then with the third one, it was another, I think it was like 25 pounds. Anyway, I had weight to lose. I've had weight to lose every time I have a baby. I have weight to lose. So I found this book. It's called Outsmarting the Female Fat Cell. I was in like a Books a Million or a Barnes and Noble or something back when you had to go to the bookstore because there was no Amazon back in the day where you could just or Google and go on. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so I found this book, and she, to me, gave me the understanding that I needed. Again, that's Outsmarting the Female Fat Cell by Debra Waterhouse. I don't know if I said that. But she gave me the understanding that I needed to understand my body. So the book, in reading the book, was giving me body awareness. Just as when we start to learn to come away from the mind, we have to learn what are we leaving if we're not living with our mind anymore? What's this new space we're living in, and how does it think and act and experience the world? Soul awareness. We have to learn soul awareness. What is it like to live in our soul space instead of in our mental space in our tidy mind house? What's it like to live there? What do we think about? What do we do? We have to learn that space. And right now, most of us, if you've got weight issues from your mind, or, genetics plays a part in it, but your mind contributes to that, okay? It can make it way more than it has to be because it is using what you're genetically wired to do against you, such as nurturing family, gathering with family. It's using that beautiful story to then create a problem in your physical body. So we have to find, well, what is that like? What is that space like where we allow our body to have a say, where we get connected to our physical awareness, our body awareness, our body balance? What's that like? What does that feel like? How do we operate from that space? So that book really helped me see what that even looks like. Because y'all have to admit, most of the eating that you do is just mindless eating. Your body, you're not even paying attention to your body while you are eating, are you? You're paying attention maybe to your tongue and the taste buds, but you're not paying attention to your body. You don't start paying attention to your body until it starts to get overweight and it starts to hurt in places that it didn't used to hurt, and you can't move around like you used to, and you can't attract the mate that you want to attract because your mind says you have to look a certain way to attract that, which is not true. But it says that you have to look a certain way to attract the mate that you want. So you don't pay attention to your body. And even then, when you do turn your focus on your body, your mind is still in charge, and your mind is calling the shots on how are we going to deal with this? What are we going to do with this body that we now hate? It's the problem. The body, look at it. Ugh, walk by the mirror and hate it. Like, it's the problem, the mind says. No, it's not. The body is an innocent bystander that has been abused by an excessive, out of control, I want what I want when I want it, childish mind. The body is at the mercy of that mind. So is your soul. That's why your life's a wreck most of the time. There's drama, and you pushed everybody away, and nobody will talk to you anymore. And your mind is in control, has you, possessing you. So how do you step into your, sorry, I got a train coming by now. Uh, we're right by a train track. How do you step into your physical? What's that like to live there, where you're actually paying attention to your body while you are eating? What's that like? So in this book, that's what she helped me to do, because I actually involved my body in mealtime. Usually it's just my mind involved in mealtime. My mind stole the show in everything that I did. But when you are getting to know that you're, thank you, Sarah, when you're getting to know what it's like to live in your soul awareness, and then you get to know what it's like to live in your body awareness, your mind's not in control all the time, right? And you're not out of balance. So what does that look like? Okay, you've waited long enough. Let's talk about it. So in the book, she gave me, or she'll give you tips too, because it's the same book. You read it, I read it, you're going to get the same information. It was things like, let your body, you're involving your body in the food process, okay? Let your body tell you when it wants to eat. That's pretty general, like hunger. When's the last time you've actually felt real hunger? Think about that. When she asked me, when I read that question in the book, I was like, yeah, I don't even know. Like, I haven't really been truly hungry, because I just eat, like just grab stuff and eat it. So you'll get to know, okay, let my body tell me when to eat. All right. And then she also says things like, if you're not sure, have a glass of water and wait for a little bit. And if the hunger comes back, yep, you're truly hungry. A lot of times we're not really hungry, we're dehydrated, and we need water. It's very basic, very simple stuff that she's saying here. This isn't hard. Then make it something that honors the body. Make it, if you want to, a ritual. Your meal times, a ritual that allows you time each day to reconnect to your body, to get to know your body, to listen to your body. Instead of mindless or mindful, you're totally trapped in your mind while you're eating. Your body's not involved. Conscious eating. Sit, make it a ritual. It's my body time. This meal time is not about just filling a hole. This is something for me to reconnect to my body a couple of times every day. When my body says it's hungry, I'm going to sit and honor my body. So her suggestion was, sit down to eat. Don't just run around grabbing this and grabbing that. Like, purposefully put the food on your plate and sit down before you start eating. Sit down and eat it. There's your food. Eat slowly. I don't know where I heard this. I don't know if she said that in the book or not, but she was talking about it, or somebody did, that it takes like 20 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes before, when the food starts to enter your body, for your body start to signal or recognize that it's had enough food. So if you're scarfing down like 5,000, I don't want to talk about calories, but if you scarf down like, I don't know, let's just use calories, 5,000 calories in 5 minutes, you're not really going to notice it that you've overeaten, because you ate it so fast. So slow your eating down. She said, put your fork down between each bite. Put your fork down. Chew your food. Savor the food. Respect the food. Respect the food that you are eating. Have gratitude for the food that you have in your mouth. Enjoy the flavor of the food that you have in your mouth. Really taste the food that you have in your mouth. Really chew up the food that you have in your mouth. Then she said, pay attention, stay conscious. This is a consciousness practice, just like your soul awareness is. And listening to your mind each day and how it's trying to pull you off in the tiny mind house. You have to, when you're eating, have body awareness. You have to stay you have to stay conscious. Chew your food. Chewing is the first part of the digestive tract. That's the process. Chewing. Chew it up. It's less for your body to have, your stomach to have to do. Chew your food. And then pick your fork back up, take another bite. Chew your food. Pay attention to your body. And when your body says, I'm not hungry anymore, that's when you stop eating. Not when you have shoved so much food in your mouth that you're like, it's like Thanksgiving dinner time and you haven't done button your pants and scoot away from you. Oh Lord, I ate too much. No, not then. Because then you've disrespected your body. And now your body is having to store what it didn't need as fat. That's what it does. Whatever your body does not need at that moment in time, depending on its, the health of it at the moment, how much it's exercised that day, or how much it's moved around, that your body knows exactly how much it needs. You don't have to count the calories. If you'll listen to it while you're eating, it knows exactly how much it needs in any given moment. It's just like nursing your babies, like breastfeeding your babies. That always just blew my mind, that your body supply, it's just intelligence. Like your body knew exactly how much milk to produce for that baby, and that baby knew exactly how much to take in. It's just, the mind is not involved in that. Everything works. Everything works well. And no problems are created. Keep your mind out of meal times. Focus on your body. Make it a ritual. My body's hungry. It's time to shift from whatever I was doing and honor my body. I gave the story about, I visited Bali many times in Indonesia, and they stop and they honor the soul 3 times a day. So where, here we might go to church on Sunday or Wednesday night or whatever, and we're not really, anyway, I won't get into that, but they have a ritual where they stop what they're doing 3 times a day and they honor the soul through giving an offering in their little offering places that they have. Everybody has outside of wherever they live. It's balance. It's your soul, honoring the body, and being very, very aware of what the mind is doing. Always. So practice this at meal times. Wait till you're hungry. Sit down. Make it a thing. One of the signals that my body would give me when it was done eating, or it was comfortable, or it had just enough, and this, sorry if this is gross or whatever, but it would just give out just a little burp, like, yep, there it is. And that would, to me, it became, once I really did this for a long time. I'm going back to it now, but I did this for a long time. And I got to know what my body's signal was. I could feel it. I could feel like, oh, okay, it's all that it needs. And I would stop eating. Well, actually, my rule was one more bite after that, and then I'm done. Then I'm done. And usually I'd try to eat like a bite of something sweet, but just a bite. I didn't disrespect my body. Now, one thing, in the book, she does kind of talk about you want to eat healthy foods and this and that. But I think why it worked for me was it wasn't all or nothing. It wasn't, you have to always eat this kind of food and you can never have, it wasn't black and white. It wasn't all or nothing. And that's, especially you endomorphs out there, have a very black and white mind, all or nothing. I'm going to either really overeat or I'm going to deprive myself. And you can't maintain, if you're trying to use deprivation for weight loss, it's not a sustainable plan. It's not, because your mind can't, you just can't do, if you're still attached to your mind, that you can't do it, and it's not healthy anyway. So with her, she's like, with Debra Waterhouse, she's like, if you're hungry and you've been thinking about that ice cream all day, sit down and eat the ice cream. Just follow the same guidelines that you did when you're eating the healthy meal. Sit down, make it about the body, bring your body into what you're doing. How's my body feeling? Savor every bite. I bought some butter pecan ice cream. And y'all better know that the next time well, probably not tonight. I'm not really craving it right now, but the next time I'm craving it and I'm hungry, me and that butter pecan ice cream are going to sit together. I'm going to respect the food and I'm going to respect my body and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to eat it slowly. I'm going to try to spread it out over 20 minutes and I'm going to stop when my body's like, that's, yeah, satisfied. Satisfied. Not, I can't breathe. I'm satisfied. That's the same. I'm glad I said that word, because that's the same thing that you feel when you learn what the space of your soul awareness feels like. It's satisfaction. I don't need anything else. I don't need excess. I don't need more of anything. I don't have to have something. I don't need something. I just enjoy where I am, what I'm doing. I don't attach to it as in, oh no, I enjoy this so much, it must stay. That's on this end of the seesaw with the mind that's playing the game. No, I enjoy it. I know it could go away at any time, but I enjoy it. I don't attach to it. I just enjoy it. And I feel content. And I feel relieved. And I feel satisfied. And I don't need anything. That's the same when you get into your body awareness and your body has had what it needs, all that it needs, and it knows exactly how much it needs. I'm satisfied. I can go on like I don't need anything else. The thing that keeps needing more is your mind. So I hope that this has give you some things to think about. I know that whatever I said it, ever the way I said it is how I said it. I hope you can get something out of this. I hope you can try this the next time you sit down at mealtime. Please wait till you're actually hungry before you go and eat. If you love to cook, and I know you endomorphs out there are like, yeah, but I like to taste things while I'm cooking. Maybe you take those bites that you would like to taste, and if you need to like taste it to see if it needs a little more salt, like I get it. But you also have to account with you're including the body in that and make sure you're honoring your body, okay? Because by the time, if you do that all during the cooking process, odds are you're not going to be hungry at all when you sit down at the meal to enjoy body time, connecting with our physical body and also the physical bodies of those around us. If you're eating the whole time, your body's not gonna want anything when it sits down. But what do we do anyway? We sit with this big, massive plate of excess. Anytime we're in excess, our mind is in control. I want you to remember that. We sit down and we eat that, and then we wonder, like, well, why can't I? It's like you can have both. You can indulge. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. You can enjoy the flavors and the wonderful foods, but you have to also honor the body. You can't have both when it comes to, well, I want to have what I want when I want to have it and as much as I want to have, and I want to wrap it in this beautiful story of, oh, well, it's it's what I love, and that's the mind. Okay, and that's fine, but it's going to create a problem in your physical body. It's going to make your physical body out of balance. If you can make your peace with that, if you're okay with that, go for it. Like if that's okay. But what you can't have both of is, your mind can't have it all. It can't say, I want what I want when I want it, and I want to, to do all this and have access with my family, and that's how we connect. And then look in the mirror, and the mind, you have to tell your mind, look, I don't want to hear it from you when we go to put those pants on. I don't want to hear it because this is the choice you're making. So that's a little parenting that we do in the Tidy and Relax Your Mind course. Anyway, honor your body. Don't let your mind create more problems for you. You can do this. Like, make it a ritual where you sit and honor your body. During mealtime, it's body time. If your body's hungry, it's body time. How can I sit with my body? How can I feel my physical body? How can I honor the food that I'm eating? I hope this has helped. I'm rambling now. Did anybody have, if y'all need to go, you can go. It's at an hour. Did anybody have any questions? Thinking about it that way, food and mealtime is honoring the body. Yes. Does anybody have, Kelly, I feel nauseous. You got this, Kelly. Let it sit with you for a little while, okay? Is any questions that anybody has from anything that we talked about today? And if not, I will wrap it up. Well, I'm working on an audio book right now, Linda. I'm doing a journal. It's a course where you can join. It's called Soul Strong, and it's $4.99 a month. You can do it for a month, or you can do it for a whole year, whatever you want to do. Cancel anytime. But you have access to 3 courses. That's the Tidy and Relax Your Mind course, Rest and Recover, and can't remember the third one, but you have access to 3 courses. You also have access to my daily journals. Well, daily or every other day. So the audiobook that is coming is my journal for December, and then I'll have another one, the journal for January, and then I have another one, the journal for February, and on throughout the year. The first journal is called Untangled, and that's just me when I'm starting to get more grounded in my soul awareness and the traps that I keep falling into with my mind, and I talk about that and how I get out of them. And you're just watching a very real experience, a very real journey, and the things my mind says to me and the way I process things. And anyway, and then in January, I'm going to call that one Exposed, and we're exposing the mind for the things that it does and the problems that it causes. And I'm not sure what February will be called yet, because I'm just getting started with that. But it'll probably be talking a whole lot more about the body. I don't know, maybe not. But that seems to be what's coming up right now. Get this. Can this be genetic? Yes, part of it. That's why I talked about the Ectomorph, Mesomorph, and Endomorph. Part of it is genetics and the way that your mind is wired. But what I want you to see in the slow metabolism of the endomorph. But what I want you to see is how the mind, when it gets involved, it takes what you're predisposed to genetically and uses it against you to create a problem in your physical body. So yes. Yes, first journal Untangled, second journal Exposed. Those will be audiobooks very, very soon. I'm still working on it. Any other questions? If you ask a question, I'm sorry, let me see if I can scroll through here and see what I can see. I'd asked earlier if a person can have characteristics of 2. Yes. Now, this isn't, one size fits all. If your body type is this is how you're going to act. There's a lot of contributing. That's a generalization. There are a lot of factors that go into that. The body type you were raised by, you learn their mental habits. So yes, you can have different characteristics and of the same body type. I have a lot of, my mind is very ectomorph in the way that it thinks, that never satisfied mind. I fall into that a lot. And I'm also the mesomorph in my body, so my mind also likes to create problems. And then the endomorph usually falls more in the trust issue category. Let me see if I can see any other questions. Can you have a combo of body types? Yes, you can. There's three basic ones, but there's a whole 360 degrees that you fall within, that can tell you, your specific combination. So I'm just giving you a very general, very brief overview of what that is. Let's see. How can I get a private session? You can go to, if you're on Instagram, you can go to my profile page, and there's a link there that says msha.ke/tidymind, and click that, and it will take you to the link to book a session. I also do reading of energy of chakras. If you're into that type of thing, you can get one of those types of readings. I kind of tell you a little bit about what may be happening in your tidy mind house and the things that you may be up against, and how to kind of navigate those and come back into your soul awareness. Let's see what else. Oh, thank you, Mary, for purchasing the badge. Let's see if I can find any more questions. We got this. Grateful to be on the journey. Would love to hear more from that 2-hour conversation. I'll see if I can, maybe we talk about that next week, about what all we talked about. Basically, I just talked to her about the rooms of the Tidy Mind House. And again, that Tidy Mind House is coping. You're coping, and it's the first step before you learn to live in a new space where you're not influenced by this mind and all the fears that it wants to tangle you in. It's the first step. Tidy and Relax Your Mind, the course that I talked about with Valerie and wrote for Valerie, the Tidy Mind House, is to cope with the mind that you're tangled up with, because it's creating pain, and it's creating confusion, and it's creating drama, and it's creating all kinds of problems. Okay, and you're still really tangled up with it. So in that course, we are basically we're having a redo, a do-over in the parenting. You're learning to separate from this mind and parent it, because it's taken on some really dysfunctional coping skills of attacking and shutting out. This is the collective mind. We're all attached to this mind. Okay, so you're learning to reparent it and cope with it so that you can sneak away from it, and that you can embody your soul awareness, so that you're not pulled into its traps, and you're just living a life of alignment. You're living a life of peace, where peace is the priority. So the Tidy and Relax Your Mind course, which you can either buy that outright on tidymind.teachable.com, or you can have access to it for $4.99 this month, next month, the next month, however you want to do it. I try to make most of my content free, because I don't want people to suffer. Like, I know what suffering is. I've done it so much. And if I can have some technique or some tool or some visualization that helps you see how to step away from this thing that is causing and creating so much mental suffering and pain in the world, I want you to have it. No matter where you are in life, what your financial status is, I want you to have it. Okay? So most of my content is free. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it wherever. The $4.99 a month, like, I figure that's pretty doable if you're interested in that. But I'm trying right now to pull lots of content so it's all in one place in that course that is called Soul Strong for $4.99 a month. I'm staying out of the tiny mind house, Kelly says. Let me see if there's any more questions. Can you have yes. There will be a replay for this if you missed anything. How can I get a proposition? I wish you would write a book. Yes, I don't think I've missed any questions, maybe. The chef is always the last one to eat. Mesomorphs, listen, we don't really, we're the ones that are like, we get hangry, it's like we don't really like the food preparation. We don't like to cook. We don't really think about food until we're hungry, and then we want to eat, and we can't overeat, and we do like junk food and sugar and all that good stuff, so that our mind uses that to contribute to our weight gain. But as far as like loving to be in the kitchen and loving food and loving to cook, no, we just like to grab it, eat it, scarf it down, and go do whatever it is we were doing. Now, there's exceptions to that, where if I get a lot of sugar in my system, I'm going to want to eat like a lot. And I don't really want to do much. I just want to sit around and, oh, what can I eat now? So I get in that loop. So we all have we all have the traps that we can get into with the mind that can affect the physical body. So hopefully something that I've told you here today can help you avoid those traps and help you make mealtime a time that you take each and every day to honor your body. That's enough for today. Thank you so much if you are still here after an hour or more, longer. And you can watch the replay, and I will talk to all of you wonderful souls next Sunday. Bye for now.